third quarter about to begin. They keep showing Johannes's stats, and they don't tell the whole story, Kajan. I think that's the frustrating part. This is the first time ever a 4 for 5 from 3 doesn't tell the whole story. Does it, Cage?
And Rebecca Lobo was like, these are the ones that she practices. Oh boy.
I don't even know how you practice that, Cage. I don't even. I feel like Amon Shumpert explaining when he played Kobe, and Kobe's throwing the ball off the glass, coming down and catching it, passing it out, like looking at
That one-legged three, that one-legged three was ridiculous.
I literally, Cajun, can explain to you how confused I am how she made that. Like, I don't know how you think about taking that shot, then have the confidence to take that shot, and then make it. Like, how? How?
I don't know, man.
Show me your ways, Padawan. Show me your ways. How did you do that? That is genuinely one of the few times you can genuinely say, Cajun, without hyperbole, without joking, did I see what I just saw?
What just happened?
As again, I will say the third quarter has officially commenced. As a kind of moving J there, right at the free throw line for Breonna Stewart starts off the scoring.
And she's had a very quiet 12 points, 5 rebounds as Plum now leads all scorers with 16 points. And Unescu wide open for three, raises the front rim. Felt like she had a lot more time to shoot that than she did.
Those are definitely the worst moments, Cage, when you either feel like you feel like you have more time or feel like you have less time. Because you never get the shot you want.
And Asia Wilson, the step back from the elbow, knocks it down, and it's a 1-point game. And Plum daring Vandersloot to shoot it, going underneath those screens.
That's something they've done all game, Cajun. They have really been daring Vandersloot to shoot, and it's worked for them so far.
Exactly. And lost in all of this talk about Marine Johannes, Jonquil Jones, Kelsey Plum, Asia Wilson, and Breonna Stewart, Jackie Young's had herself a good game.
That she has.
As she knocks out in the first.
And ties the game at 51.
But in and out on the second, and the Aces not able to be up in front. They're tied up at 51 right now. As Stewart uses that mismatch against Kelsey Plum. It's like a very ill-advised shot given the mismatch that she had, in my opinion.
I think next dead ball, I'll go through the position enders. As I said I would, is that's a steal for the New York Liberty. And they're going to call foul there on Plum. That, I think, is her third.
It is.
So, quickly, Liberty's field goal percentage, 50%. Bases, 51%. Rebounds, 18-18 tie. Offensive rebounds, 4-2 in favor of New York. Turnovers, 6-6 tie. So the only real difference, Gage, is the 3-pointers, which are in favor of the New York Liberty. 8-6.
And as poorly as Vandersloot has played, as poorly as Vandersloot has shot the ball well, that was a nice dime to Breonna Stewart for the layup. And Jackie Young, now I believe she's got 16. 4 or 5 from downtown. And Vandersloot, boy, that was a horrendous miss.
The struggles continue for Courtney Vandersloot.
Young using the screen from Asia Wilson. Left wide open. Liberty might have caught in a bit of a break there as she missed. And a great job by Stokes to get a deflection on that ball. Knocking it out of bounds, but it's still a Liberty ball. 6:46 left in this third quarter. 16 on the shot clock. Stewart, and all of a sudden, the WNBA MVP is 6 in this third quarter. She's up to 16 now. Ray wide open for 3, and she knocks it down from the top of the key.
And that was because of the double. They try to double the ball there with Stewart, and the late rotation leaves her wide open for the triple.
And that's the issue with having to deal with Jackie Young, who was 4 or 5 from behind the arc. No, make it 4 of 6 from behind the arc. You got to keep your eyes on her, and they tried to double her and force a turnover. The problem is you left a 2-time WNBA champion and Chelsea Gray wide open from the top of the key. That's a recipe for disaster.
And that's her first triple of the game for Gray.
I think that's her second. But she knocked one down in the first.
You'd be right. You'd be right. My stats did not update again. I apparently forgot to press the refresh button. But
and how
Cage,
much? And how
what?
much? And my question is, how much longer until you go with Johannes?
In all fairness to Courtney Vandersloot, who's now 1 for 6 in the game, even though she has 5 assists, which really is her game. I mean, not much longer. Especially if the Aces continue to build on this little lead they've got, which is right now is 2. Then I mean, I think you got to go back to her, and maybe I won't say hope, but see if what she's got is still there. She's still got that, though I'll say that shot in her, that weird shot. As Aja Wilson gets fouled by Jones, basically into the referee, who tried to kind of catch her as she went into his legs.
And for Jones, that's her third foul.
So fouls are now becoming a problem. And maybe, you sub out, I would say, Jones for Ioannis, and then just move Laney and Stewart down, which I think you can do. It's just then, at that point, is it worth having all 3 of those top guards on the floor at the same time? As I think that is 1 of 2 for Aja Wilson.
An aggressive take there from Vandersloot, but now 1 of 7 from the field. Jackie Young all the way to the basket and took Sabrina Ionescu to school. Told Ionescu to get in the weight room with that strong take to the basket, and a timeout called by Sandy Brondello as Jackie Young, now a game high 18 points.
You can't be happy with the Liberty's performance in this third quarter, Capes. We're almost halfway through. It's 5:17 left as this timeout is taken. And the Liberty have 6 points in this game. Like, you can't be happy with that. So I don't know if that means Vandersloot comes out and you move an SQ to the point guard spot and you make Johannes play shoot, or if you move Johannes to point guard and just pull out Vandersloot, or what you do. But something needs to get done, and you'd think it's gonna be the move getting Johannes in and figuring out everything else after that. And again, we talked about you don't expect she's going to continue to go 5 for 6 from the field, 4 of 5 from 3. But there's always that chance. Players just have those types of games where they're just hot. And right now, at least in that first half, it definitely felt like Johannes was just hot. There wasn't, oh, she was missing these shots. It just felt like if she took it, it was going in.
Exactly.
So you really do have to wonder.
And I feel like that timeout was called because Johannes was literally at the scorer's table waiting to be subbed in. But like to sum all this up, what I really loved in the time that since we started Polar Opposites, the amount of attention that's that women's basketball has had.
I think this finals will propel it to even higher heights. I genuinely think just this 5-game series, or however many games it goes, will propel that even higher. I think even Al's gonna want to talk about this, which will be an improvement.
Honestly, like, and I have kind of an idea. I have kind of an idea that I think like if we can actually pull this off, would not only propel the outrage in Polar Opposites, but also like shine light on women's basketball. And I'll let you know once this game's done.
We can definitely talk about that, Cage, but it has been so interesting with these two teams because, again, collision course it felt like between these two sides. There's so many great players. They both have great coaches. And now they're here, and it's living up to what we expected, which there can't be much better.
There's always hyped finals matchups, whether it's in the NBA or the WNBA, but a lot of them don't live up to the billing. These are one of those few that are living up to the billing.
New York did get their first make right out of the timeout. And to mention, guess who? Johannes is in, and Vandersloot is out.
And Laney has really left her fingerprints all over in this last minute. Just had a basket, to out of the timeout and got a second possession that led to the Jones putback. And great defense by Johannes after turning the ball over.
After an ugly turnover, yeah, she gets the stop. But I thought he was gonna go put that in, and Wilson blocked that and sent that out of play on Jonquel Jones, who does now have that double-double. You mentioned she was basically on the cusp of it at the end of the first half, and she finally got that next rebound to be able to get the double-double. Kind of weird that can happen, Kajan. She had 9 rebounds and 12 points to end the half. Took her 6 minutes to get the 10th rebound. As AJ Wilson's kind of on double check with 13 points and 7 rebounds. As Clark settles for a 3. Not exactly a great shot, I don't think.
And lost in the struggles from the Liberty, Alicia Clark has not had a field goal this game.
And I also do want to mention this, Cage. With that shot, with that missed pass, with that turnover that hit the hand of one of the best players in the world in Brianna Stewart, she caught it to catch it with one hand, and the ball kind of skips off her hand and it goes away. As a football guy, and again, I love American football. I love the NFL. Catch that ball with two hands. For Christ's sake, catch that ball with two hands. My God, catch that ball with two hands. It's free 2 points. Just catch it with two hands.
As we have a Ben Simmons sighting.
With Mikal Bridges, you mentioned with the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets are here, so obviously Ben Simmons is in the building. The former All-Star.
Deep three from UNESCO, and it hits the backboard and nothing else.
That's from the Michelob Ultra sign. And actually, I want to mention it's Michelob Ultra Arena. That's what they're playing in right now.
Speaking of 3-point prowess, Jackie Young just knocked down a big three from the corner. You would argue it could have been a foul too.
And that was, again, with her hand in her face. She hit that corner three. That's their first make out of the timeout, I believe, since the Liberty timeout.
And Laney has started to show out here in this third quarter.
Since the timeout, especially.
The pick and pop between Gray and Wilson, executed to perfection. Wilson knocks it down from the mid range,
and that's like a short pop.
Giannis is human.
Yeah, she missed one, but it hit the net. It hit the rim cage. It got a little too close. If you're an Aces fan there.
She has to be leaning. She has to be leaning away, contorting her body to knock that down, though.
I thought she was gonna take that, or that was an Eskew. I thought she was gonna take that shot if she got around. She wasn't able to get around Gray.
And I could argue that could have been a 4-point play on Young.
Oh, it definitely should have been a 4-point play. You saw there on the replay we just got to look at that she got clipped. That she, as I guess, as she took the shot, once she got the follow through, Stewart closed out and clipped her. And again, that's with the ball long gone by that point. Ooh, that's lucky for the Aces. They call a block against them. But the reason why it's lucky they called the foul is because Edescu had gotten away from the block and had a couple wide open white shirts to her left.
One of them was Maureen Johannes,
who got the ball, might I add. Vandersloot back in.
And Stewart gets denied by Wilson and Gray. What a touchdown pass to Asia Wilson.
But knocked at a play by the Liberty.
And I kind of like how these refs are officiating this game thus far, letting them play through contact.
Minute 20 left in this third quarter.
Some calls that should be called, but for the most part, they'll end the play. And that's all you can ask for.
This third quarter has gone down points-wise for both teams. The Liberty only have 12 points. The Aces only have 19 points.
But I think this favors the Aces.
Well, when they have reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Kajan, I would agree with you that the lower scoring these games are, the more you'd think the Aces are going to win. Even though, in fairness, the Aces are the highest scoring team in the WNBA this year, with the Liberty, of course, being second. And another thing I want to mention here, Kajan, as I go kind of stat watching between these two teams.
Mm-hmm.
The Liberty are second in the WNBA in rebounding this regular season, and they're third in offensive rebounding, while the Liberty, even with AJ Wilson, are fifth in total rebounds and 12th in offensive rebounding. So that's something the Liberty can really take advantage of, which they have in this game.
And Asia Wilson has woken up, and Wilson says none of that.
And that makes it 1 for 8 for Vandersloot. That one's, of course, not her fault. It's blocked, but still, it doesn't make the percentage look any better. Looks at it actually made it a little worse. And you know what that take was there, Cage? As Stewart gets fouled? That was a, okay, everybody out of my way. Time to get some points right there by Brown and Stewart.
Time for me to take over and settle this thing down.
And you actually saw there on the replay that Stewart did kind of touch the fingers there of Wilson as Wilson made the J.
And honestly, seeing that layup attempt from Vandersloot was kind of aggravating. You're 1 for 7, and you're trying to get fancy with a layup like that. Call me crazy,
That won't be too hard.
but a layup attempt like that when you're 1 for 7, like make sure, like, especially when someone like Asia Wilson is in the vicinity. At least an up fake would work. Try to get that third foul on Asia Wilson and get to the free throw line.
Another couple stats I want to mention here from the regular season as we have basically 32 seconds left in this third quarter as Wilson goes to the free throw line. And she likes to tuck the top of her jersey in. I don't know why she likes to do that. She likes to tuck her jersey kind of in on her shoulders. I don't know why she doesn't just tape it, because I assume they're allowed to tape it. I know some NBA players tape it. But to continue my point, the Aces, as she makes both, are first in turnovers with the least at 11 per game. They're first in offensive rating and first in defensive rating. The Liberty are tied for seventh in turnovers at 13.5 a game. They're second in offensive rating. They're third in defensive rating. So again, we talked about collision course. These two teams are just so good, but the offensive rebound is a plus to Liberty, while the turnover battle is a plus to the Aces, if you look at the stat sheet before these games started.
And Jackie Young with the N1 at the expense of Courtney Vandersloot.
Who has seemingly done little right in this game, Cage. It definitely feels that way.
And look at Chelsea Gray hyping up Jackie Young. And Young just walked to the free throw line and like, yep, this is what I do. And completes a 3-point play. I believe this is the largest lead for the Aces.
At 7. Stewart just had to fire at the end of the game clock as the third quarter ends. Not sure if she got it off in time, but regardless, it didn't make.
She did not.
So a struggle in that third quarter for Las Vegas, or for the New York Liberty, pardon me, as the Aces 7-point leaders going into the fourth quarter, 26-16 third quarter in favor of the Black Shirts, the home team. And a quickly update before we move to the fourth quarter. Field goal percentage, 46% Liberty, 52% Las Vegas. Rebounds total, 25 each. Offensive rebounds, 5-2 in favor of the Liberty. Again, that's a stat they dominated in the regular season. Turnovers, 8-8 tie, but 5 steals for the Aces compared to, or 4 steals for the Aces, pardon me, to 3 for the Liberty. So at least they had 1 extra possession next to a dead ball turnover, like the Aces had quite a few times in that first half. And then the 3-point 3-pointers are now tied at 8 each, percentage-wise in favor of the Aces, 42% to 33%. All in that in saying that third quarter was just about all Aces.
And I gotta mention this: Asia Wilson, Jackie Young combined for 23. No, 20. Excuse me, 22 of the 26 points. Asia Wilson with 9 in the third. Jackie Young with 13 of her now game high 24 in that third quarter.